Today I'll be reviewing Winged Victory from the Louvre Collection by Buly 1803. I'm going to be giving a little introductory information about Buly as a company, the Louvre Collection, O Triple, and the Dozen box set. So if you've already seen that from my last video, please fast forward to the review itself. So Buly 1803 is a really old French apothecary brand that was revived by the same people that did Cire Trudon. Cire Trudon was also revived, and they make great candles, and I have one right there. And they seem to have a great kind of vision and feel for this kind of old-timey kind of apothecary-esque aesthetics, and you should really check out both brands. I highly recommend them. So the Louvre Collection started when the Louvre Museum went to Buly 1803 and requested that they curate a perfume collection for them. And Buly then got 8 perfumers, really highly respected in the area, and gave them free rein to go into the museum, select paintings or statues or whatever artwork that they can find in the Louvre Museum and make a perfume inspired by those artworks. And these are the 8 perfumes that they gave us. One thing to note about the perfumes from Buly 1803 is their formula. Their formula is all called O Triple, and what's special about them is that they're water-based, as opposed to the generally alcohol-based perfumes that we see out there. So what's special about them is that because it's water-based, it's kind of like an emulsion. So you do have to agitate them or shake them before you use them, and it is always recommended on their bottles as well. And I don't mean 1 or 2 seconds of shakes. I usually personally do a good 10-second shake with these perfumes before I spray them, because it does seem to make a difference in how they perform in terms of the smell and in terms of the sprayer as well. The sprayer doesn't seem to work as well, doesn't give you that kind of fine mist when I don't shake it as much. Another thing about them is the scent progression. They might seem quite linear compared to the traditional kind of top, middle, and base note, because what you get is, because it's an emulsion, you get all of the notes at once in the beginning. So you're smelling all the top notes, middle notes, base notes all at the same time. So it might actually seem quite overwhelming in the beginning, but what I've noticed is that they kind of go away as the time progresses or reappear, and it's kind of this kind of an interesting progression. I've not had perfumes that have this type of progression, but just something to note because it is a little bit different. So like I said, it came as part of this collection from the Louvre paintings or artworks, and mine came in this box set, and it includes 12 scents from their collection, and 8 is from the Louvre Collection, and 4 is from their main line. And 4 of those are the damask rose, orange flower, Mexican tuberose, and Scottish lichen. So those are included in there as well. So going into the scent itself finally. So this is a Winged Victory, and it is probably the most famous statue that exists in the Louvre Museum. It's in this beautiful staircase. It's kind of highlighted when you enter. There's a specific entrance that you enter, and you can see this, and it's really, really beautiful. And it's basically, I think it's most famously known as goddess Nike, and she has this beautiful wing behind her. Her clothing is kind of billowing in the wind, and the statue itself actually used to be attached to a boat. I'm not 100% sure on that, but it really evokes that. It used to be, I believe at least, it was situated by some kind of port or the seaside, and it really has that feeling to the statue, and it is reflected in the perfume as well. So my impression of this perfume is that it is a citrus floral mainly, and it has aquatic accents. It has aquatic kind of watery notes mixed in with the citrus, and the freshness and the effect that it gives really gives you this impression of something billowy, some kind of seaside effect, and you really start imagining kind of that seawater and that foaminess that you see from the seawater when it kind of splashes onto a boat or a sailing a ship or something like that. That's the impression that you get from this perfume. I personally do not like aquatic notes. It really reminds me of a certain type of perfumes that I don't specifically enjoy, but I did enjoy this one. The aquatic notes are not the kind of aquatic almost melony type notes that you get in the perfumes from the 90s. It's very Mediterranean. There is a salty aspect, and I think that's what kind of keeps it apart from those aquatic notes that I personally don't enjoy so much. It's more salty, more Mediterranean, very sea air like, and that's what I really enjoy about this perfume. There's something floral in here, but I'm not sure what it is. I believe it's probably jasmine, but it does remind me of magnolia as well, and magnolia always has a kind of a citrus aspect to the flower, so that might be kind of going back to that citrus note that I mentioned, that Mediterranean kind of citrusy aspect that I'm smelling in this perfume. But it does smell of kind of that airy jasmine and the magnolia, the white floral kind of feeling that I get from this perfume. Another aspect of this perfume that I really enjoy is that it feels so airy. There is that feeling that evokes that victorious posture of the statue that you see, and you really smell that from this perfume, and I was really impressed by that. The website mentions that there's myrrh in it. I don't specifically smell myrrh. It might be something that's in the background to give it a bit more depth, but I don't necessarily pick it out from the notes themselves. One thing to point out for people who don't enjoy aquatic notes like me is that the aquatic aspect does get stronger with time. So as time passes, you smell it more stronger. It doesn't get more deeper or change into something, but it's just a bit stronger as time goes on. So towards the end, it did get to me a little bit too closer to the aquatic notes that I do not like. It kind of lost that salty sea air aspect towards the end of its lifetime, but I really enjoyed this. I just loved that Mediterranean sea air feeling that I got from this perfume, and I really enjoyed it.